it begins. He stole one of my Stronger Together cards, which would have allowed me to use two characters at once. I picked a villain that I must fight from one of my books. I choose Earl Balin and soundly defeat him. I then put the villain into my spoils section. Looks like he has a Shadowland card, which is Flight. Either one of us can use that for a flying character. And ironically, that is the Shatter Sky, which knocks all flying characters back to the ground. He stole another one of my cards, which would have made Earl Balin invulnerable to magic, but I got an upgrade for Gideon, and I equipped it to her right there, so that made her the stronger character. Looks like he picked up Incantation, which is a special attack for magicians. Looks like there's a spar card that I drew, so I get to go and I get to choose who fights who. So, looks like I chose him, and I obviously fought someone. Oh, this was to the death, so I killed him. I get the card for winning, and I kill the character. And you turn the character over in death. Looks like he chose or drew a villain from his side, so he has to fight it, but he gets to decide who fights who. So he chose Michael Muriel against her because he's much more powerful. So I'm wondering if I should use Flight. I do. Now she's flying and she's much more powerful, but he's gonna use Shatter Sky. That takes Flight away. She falls back to the ground and he wins. Yep, that was a good move on his part. The Shadowland, any silver card essentially, is shared, so you could always pull from the Shadowland. It looks like that's the Demon Lord's Wing. We don't assemble that villain until all three cards are combined, and then you have to fight him. I stole one of his cards for a character, so if you steal your opponent's cards, meaning you took a card that belongs to them, it has their color, it's of their side, you basically can deprive them of that card, and you get to add it to your spoils section, which is essentially your bank. Another Shadowland card. Looks like Flight is back on the board. Uh-oh. Looks like another Demon Lord card. One more, and he has to fight it. Looks like a Shadowland card for werewolves. So whoever can summon werewolves, pull from that Shadowland. Looks like I got a free character to add to my front lines. It would seem he got another card that he can use in his arsenal. So an arsenal is essentially cards that you would use. Oh, it looks like he got a steal card, so he's going to steal from my bank, from my spoils section. Now, normally if you had a cash guard, that would prevent him from doing this, but there's no cash guard on this side, so I couldn't use it. He used the steals, put it in the spoils, and he took a card that he wanted. There's a demon that you can summon, the Shadowland. It looks like he stole a card from me. Looks like Mary Dyer. So, when you steal upgrade cards from your opponent, it prevents your opponent from leveling up that character. Looks like I chose, or I drew, one of his anti-heroes. So, I get to choose who I fight on his side because I drew the card. And the anti-heroes are essentially villains, but if you defeat them, they join your side. He's going to try to fight them, but since I drew first, I get to go first. So I'm going to have the sorcerer fly, and it looks like his character is going to try to fight him. Doesn't look like he has the right cards, though, to stand a chance. Let's see. Guess I was wrong. He must have had enough power to defeat him. Interesting. So now he gets Eric Argento on his side, who is a very powerful sorcerer. Now he drew a villain from my book, so he's going to choose who he wants to fight, since he drew the card first. If I drew my villain card there, I would have decided who to fight with to defeat him, but he chose it, so he's going to choose my weaker character. In this case, he chose a stronger character. He chose our Balin, and I suppose I didn't have any upgrades or arsenal cards to fight back, so I was defeated. When you're defeated by a villain, the villain goes into the Shadowland, so you don't get that card. You haven't earned it, essentially. Oh, looks like he got perhaps the Blessed Armor. Can't tell. Blessed Armor is an item that you can equip to your character to become immune to magic. But that is for warriors only. Sorcerers can't wield that. Looks like I have to fight some Crimson Hood sorcerers, but it looks like I can easily defeat it, so I will, and put it in my spoils. So we're pretty much evenly matched here so far. But here we go again. He pulled another villain from my side, and he's going to fight me. He's going to wisely choose a character that the villain can soundly defeat. He easily defeats Idenessa, and I don't get that card. It goes into the Shadowland. That's two I think I haven't gotten. I stole a very powerful card from him. He got a redemption card. So if you are defeated by a villain, you could play that card and get a second chance at fighting him. He's got a great stack of arsenal cards. You could see he's laughing because he's outmatching me with luck of the draw. He's just got a great hand. That was the war card. So if you draw that and the deck is not depleted, you just put it to the side. And when the deck is done and there are characters still alive, we go to war. And he will decide who will go first since he drew the card. In this battle, or this round, we do go to war. Spoiler alert. I got a magic and muscle card. So if I'm fighting as a warrior, I need help. I can pull that card, and I can have a sorcerer help me. Vice versa, if I'm a sorcerer and I need some brute force, I can use that card and get a warrior to join the fight. If we lose, only the main character that I used falls. The reinforcement card that came to help me, they don't die. Looks like it's a spar card. It'll be non-lethal because that card was already played. Looks like he's going to choose who to fight, and he's going to probably win it, and he did. So every character has power points. You win by having more power points, those yellow spheres on your character cards. It's really how you win battles. Just count up the power points, and whoever has more wins. You can stack up your character with attacks, upgrades, other characters that can come help you to add to the power points during the battle. It's really as complicated as it gets. Looks like he got... Oh, he resurrected Maxim Cavallo. And I believe he's now going to upgrade him with a card he had, which gives him a little advantage. Looks like I got another character, Spirit Warrior. He can be pretty versatile if used properly. Always look at your cards. PowerPoints are just the start. If you look at the bottom of the card, there will be descriptions, and it tells you what kind of card it is, but also perhaps some bonus characteristics and features that the character has. Now it looks like I pulled the Demon Lord, and he is complete, and I chose it. Luck of the draw was in my favor, so now, as the Demon Lord, I get to decide who I want to kill, and I want to kill him. I wonder if I can do it. Oh boy, looks like he used magic and muscle. He's pulling in Eric Argento, and he's going to summon the Fire Dragon. Wow, that's impressive. So what happened there was he he made 2 turns in one. So he used Eric Argento and then used the dragon at the same time. In this game, you do one thing at a time. You choose a character, then it's your opponent's turn. Then you choose an action, and then it's your opponent's turn. So it goes back and forth until someone can no longer go or concedes to defeat. But at this rate, it looks like he has enough to defeat the Demon Lord. He's counting the power points. It looks like he's going to win. The Demon Lord summoned a demon to help him fight. This might put him at an advantage, but the Demon Lord, I mean. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. He does. So Eric Argento is going to use an incantation, and that might have done it. Yeah, he defeated the Demon Lord. When you defeat your villain, you take the villain cards into your bank, into your spoils, and any cards that were used in the battle. So if your opponent used cards to defeat you, and you win, you take those cards. You got a Crimson Hood card, which is essentially a sorcerer, and he gets to choose who he's going to fight. Let's see who he chooses. He chooses, I guess, Mary Dyer. And looks like she's defeated. Yikes. So now I only have, looks like 2 cards left. But I'm going to resurrect Arl Balin. So he's back. I had a medical chest. And now I'm going to actually draw. And I drew another upgrade for Gideon. So she is easily the most powerful character on my side. It looks like he's going to equip the Blessed Armor to Michael Muriel, so that will make him invulnerable to magic. So my character there, the woman, Gideon, she's a witch. So if she tries to fight him, it'll be like my character has no points at all, because he's invulnerable to magic. That might come in use down the road. Looks like Maxim Cavallo just equipped the Fire Sword. And he has a card in the middle there, he's touching it now. That card doubles the Fire Sword in Maxim Cavallo's hand. So make sure you read the descriptions. They might just give you a great edge in battle. Looks like I drew a spar card, so it's 2 on 1 in my favor. So I'm going to choose these two, obviously, against one character. And it's non-lethal, so it's really just winning the card, which has points. And the side that has the most points wins, so looks like he's got a spar card as well. And this should go pretty easy. He's going to choose a great character to fight a weak one, and he's going to get the card too. So that was a tit for tat. I got 10 points, and he got 10 points. Interesting. I think that's a necromancy card. A necromancy card allows a sorcerer to resurrect a character. But Gideon has an interesting feature. She can actually resurrect a villain that she defeated, and that villain can fight on your side. And I think that's what I'm considering. Let's see. I'm going to wait, it would seem. Shouldn't wait too much. So he's going to have to fight Infernos. He's another anti-hero villain. So if you defeat this character, you get him. And he pulled it. He gets to fight him. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he does defeat him. Let's see what happens. He gets to choose the character. Looks like he's choosing Michael Muriel because he has blessed armor, and Infernos is a magical character. So it looks like I summoned werewolves, which is something Infernos can do. So since he cannot fight Michael Muriel with magic because of the blessed armor, he's going to use werewolves to fight for him. Let's see if that matters. Now he's going to use a critical strike, and that is going to put him over the edge, and I summon more. Wow. Can he defeat 2 summons creature cards? Wow. That was pretty silly of me to put that extra card for him to take. I guess he was able to defeat them all. So now it looks like he's at an advantage over me. There was some telling scenarios there. Don't forget, a lot of this is the luck of the draw. Again, he chose a villain card that I have to fight. It has my color, it has the letter R for Redeem the Night. She's going to fight who? He has to be very careful who he chooses, because he wants to defeat me. He doesn't want to give me an opportunity to defeat this villain. I could have potentially an upgrade card in my hand right now. So I defeated him, I guess. So it looks like Gideon is going to resurrect what? Oh, a villain. So Gideon is going to bring a villain back to life and make him fight for the team. I'm looking for the villain to join, and there he is. So now I have a villain who is a playable character thanks to her. I drew a card that he would have liked to have, and it's his, so I stole it. Another spar card. Looks like he's going to fight someone weak enough to defeat. Pretty sure I'm not going to waste my time fighting for that card. It's worth 10 points. It is a lot, and it adds up. But I'd rather not use all my best cards because I might need it in the war ahead. And here we go. The home deck is depleted, which means he can start the war if he wants. Before the war begins, each side can essentially employ an action card or try to clean up loose ends, take care of any last minute business, upgrade your characters, um, maybe use a redemption card to fight a villain you lost to, things like that, to get ready for the fight ahead. Wars are really fun in this game. You choose one character and challenge another, and if you win that character, the opponent character dies, and then the opponent gets to choose a character to fight against you. So it's a back and forth battle. It looks like I used my time wisely and used a paladin spell that Arl Balin can use, and he resurrected everyone. Will that matter? We're going to find out. If I remember correctly, this war is pretty thrilling. Alright, so the war has begun. He's chosen a character to fight with, and he's fighting, it would seem, Arl Balin, the main character of the Redeem the Night side. I'm using magic and muscle to bring in Kira Kanem, the villain card, to help me fight. Interesting. Will it be enough? Seemingly not. Interesting. Oh, I didn't know. So that was the character he was choosing to fight with. And because I defeated him, I see, I thought Maxim Cavallo was challenging me. Because I defeated him, I get his blessed armor, which is going to be useful, I'm sure. If you defeat a character that's wearing an item that doesn't say it's permanently equipped to you, you can take it, which I just did. Now it's my turn to challenge one of his characters. Question remaining is, am I going to do it? Alright, I'm choosing Spirit Warrior against who? Looks like a magical character. Let's find out how this goes. He's going to use Incantation, which is an upgrade spell. Makes the character more powerful. Will it be enough? I'm going to use Blessed Armor, which makes me invulnerable to magic. So that makes that character useless. So that character now is at 0. So Spirit Warrior should win this. He does. I take his spell card because you take any cards that were used in the fight if you win. Now it's his turn to challenge me. It's always very important, the strategy in the war, because there's no turning back. Looks like he's made his decision, and that character has been defeated. Mary Dyer has no upgrades, and I had no cards to assist her. So now it's my turn. Who am I going to choose? And who am I going to challenge? Am I going to use Spirit Warrior again? I am. Don't forget he's wearing the Blessed Armor, so I'm going to be fighting another Sorcerer, which puts that Sorcerer at 0. He's looking to see if there's any cards he has that can help him out of this trouble, but there's probably nothing. Right. So that character should be defeated unless it comes up with something. Yep, he's defeated. And now that character is defeated. Looks like Spirit Warrior was my best hope in this war. Looks like he only has 2 characters remaining. And I have 3. And Spirit Warrior is essentially pretty versatile, so he's going to fly. Is that going to be enough? And he's also going to use an aerial strike, which essentially is a critical strike from the air. That makes him pretty strong. Looks like I made a gross error in math. Looks like he defeated that character. That might be the telling mistake. Make sure before you commit to a fight that you can predict via the cards and PowerPoints that you could defeat your opponent. You never know what they have up their sleeve. And I miscounted, and I think I was down by 1. So that was a terrible blow. And Spirit Warrior was my best character. So now I'm going to use Kirakanum to fight the best character on his side. And I'm going to use a drain power, which drains the character's energy. And what that does mechanically is it takes one of the upgrades and it goes to my side during the battle. But if I remember correctly, it wasn't enough to stop him. And I was right. So he's defeated anyway. So it goes to him, or he's dead. He takes that card, that's right. So 2 attempts on my part to defeat him were thwarted both times. So now I'm left with 2 characters and not many cards in my arsenal to stand a chance. I was able to kill Predella with Arbalin, so now he is left with only 1 character, Maxim Cavallo, the warrior. But here's the interesting thing about wars. If you have a very powerful character, you could single-handedly defeat the other side, which he does. Both of my characters were ill-equipped to take Maxim Cavallo on. He was too powerful. And that's a good lesson because throughout the game, when you're building up your characters, be mindful that if it goes to war, that character is going to become your biggest asset. He's also going to be the biggest target. But he won with a 1-man army, and now we're counting cards to see who has more value. At the end of the game, you count the white numbers on each card. You can see we're separating the 1 cards, the 5 cards, the 10 cards. And then I'm pretty sure the winner of the war usually wins the game. The war card is worth 30 value points. So you add 30 to the card value, and it's pretty obvious that he's going to win this one, which is good for him because he's a beginner. But this was his 3rd game, I believe, And in 3 games, he really learned the strategy and how to play. He understood the mechanics. He did have some questions, but I played him. I just made some careless mistakes. And when the fights are desperate, a careless mistake could be the difference between victory and defeat. All right. I really hope you enjoyed the one man army demo of Redeem the Resistance card game. Please do let me know if you're playing this card game and write in the comments if you have any questions. Enjoy!